start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first up, we have the consent agenda comprised of minutes from September 19th and township treasurer's statement.
I have no changes.
Neither did I.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda as is.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next up, we have department head reports.
Good afternoon. Township assistance has been just as busy as we've always been. Becky did get to take a week off at the end of September, so Amber and I filled in, and I think we did successfully. Any questions about township assistance?
Not from me.
I had just one observation. It looks like we're gonna spend quite a bit more than last year.
Correct.
The last couple, 3 months are still gonna continue at that clip.
They will do an additional appropriation in December to.
Yeah, I understand the mechanics of it, but
Yeah.
just the need is.
The need is still there. Yep, it's not changing at all. I think we'll continue on this track that we're spending.
Okay, thank you. Human resources.
Human resources has been busy as well. We have one firefighter resignation. We did new hires to one paramedic, one park naturalist, a parks groundskeeper, and 5 extended care staff members. Any questions about HR?
Pretty easy. Okay, next up, parks.
All right, not too much to report on the pool now that it's closed. We have drained the pool, and then we're working to do all the winterization to the pool to prepare for the winter months. And then we're also looking maintenance-wise, things that we need to repair for the upcoming year, things that are broken, things we'd like to fix. So that's pretty much what's going on at the pool right now. Next is the Nature Center. Shout out to the fire marshals in the room. After our recent fire inspection, we did update a lot of our animal enclosures to make sure they were up to code. And so it really opened up the room a lot more. I think the animals are happier with the new enclosures that we have. But we've been working really hard to make sure to kind of give PCAR a facelift and kind of make the animals a little bit happier too, and the fire marshals. And so
While you say that, you don't want to put those words in wrong.
We're also working a lot on the bug lab. We're hoping to have that done by the end of October or early November. So we're working hard to get everything updated and finalized in the bug lab. For programming, we are working on our Halloween events. Our Ghosts and Goblins event, which is our biggest event of the year, already has 40 vendors. We're still accepting more vendors. We also have the Ghostbusters coming, the Wienermobile, so it should be a lot of fun. That's always one of my favorite events. And then we are full on Christmas at this point. We have right now almost 7 Christmas events that we're doing that will meet almost every interest you could think of. And so we're really excited about those new events. For youth services, we are fully at staff. We're doing very well with our staff retention. We're really happy with that this year. We met with the school last week, and they are very happy with us still. We always enjoy our relationship with them. We were able to host a camp during the day for their parent-teacher conferences, and the parents really appreciated it, and so does the school. We also have fall break camp coming up here soon, so soon the pavilion will be filled with children. And then other than that, we are doing good on our revenue report. I did not include the Murphy month-to-month this time, only because we're at the point where we are wrapping up the whole thing, and so I want to give you the complete detailed one. I'm hoping by next month everything will be finalized, but I still have some sponsorship that's coming in. Other than that, do you have any questions for me? Oh, and the The maintenance barn is fully framed now. We're just working with the other contractors that we have to put in the other things like the plumbing, WCCD, electric, all that stuff. So that project is moving along, and it's moving along pretty fast now that we've got everyone out there. Any questions for me?
Just on Murphy, from a kind of wear and tear and kind of life of things, anything popping up that you didn't expect, or any concerns with any of that equipment, just from a
Not
cost and
with
capital?
this part, it's the wave pool. We did not expect the amount of times things would break on the wave pool, but after talking with Lebanon, they've been great to work with and talk to. They're the one closest to us that has the wave pool. After telling them some of the things that broke this year, they are common things that break. And so what we did is we put a little extra in the budget to have backup things for us moving forward. So that way, if one of those calipers do break, which we're told at least one's gonna break a year, if one of those calipers do break, we have one on hand. But it's been good, it's been bad, but good, because our maintenance division is now learning how to fix those things ourselves, or we're learning who exactly to call when those things do happen. So I don't really see anything substantial. I know that we will have to repaint the pool surface, but that's pretty good. Every third year repainting it. Danville has to repaint it every single year. So it's nothing crazy out of the ordinary, honestly,
What's the difference between ours and Danville?
the way it was made. So we learned.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, fire's up next.
Go get my sign. That was a joke.
All right. Chief Phipps and I just came back from Plainfield. They're doing the Chief Allen Burns High-Rise Firefighter Training Center. It's going to be a 9-story training facility in Plainfield, part of the hub and spoke with the state fire marshal's office. Pretty significant training facility, and if any of you want to look at it before you leave, I'll leave this flyer up here. It's going to provide a lot of opportunity to everybody around, so it's for use by anybody in the state. So it's also one of those things where we can come to you all and asking for money for our training grounds, trying to grow things, provide, and continue to expand. And in a conversation Chief Phipps and I had with their fire chief in Plainfield, he's like, I've been waiting not to build a training facility, because if the state's going to let me use theirs, then I'll just do that, which would be a nice thing. So Chief Phipps he's busy trying to figure out a way to make us part of that at some level. We'll talk to Schaefer and Steve Jones about it, but with everything being right there in Plainfield, and them having the property as a jail and it made where they have that new facility, it's a great convenience even for us. So our facility is for us. They don't dictate a whole lot down there. Everything's dictated by the state and the access of other departments. So that's a luxury, but at the same time, money's a luxury too. So it'd be nice to have them invest in us at some point. But again, it's just putting us out there for the things we already have done. Even though Schaefer knows, not everybody else knows. So at this time, I'd like to ask Chief Weininger to come up. Were you just staring at me for a moment going, oh my goodness. So Chief Weininger, she walks her way up here. We celebrated her early on, being one of the first female chiefs, if not the first female chief in the county, and then now at Avon. Come over here for everybody, right? Then we end up having her as the Township Employee of the Year. And then, shortly after that, she goes to the IERC convention for emergency response. It's put on by the Indiana Fire Chiefs Association, and she wins the EMS Officer of the Year award there as well. And the nice part about that is it wasn't us that put her on that platform. It was a neighboring department that did. And again, whenever your coworkers and your peers appreciate you, I mean, that's a huge accomplishment, right? So I'd like to give her a round of applause and appreciate having her on board. Representative Stewart and Trustee Miller were there at the convention. Stephanie was there accompanied by her husband, who's also a Brownsburg firefighter. I could not make it that night, had an obligation with sports, and they ended up with some new equipment. And it was one or the other, but Stephanie knows that I support her and we support her. So, again, huge accomplishment. And, we don't want to not celebrate our people, but thank you for bringing that up because it was not on my mind when I walked in here today. So, Mr. Blacker noticed that on social media, and I do appreciate it. Thank you for bringing that up. As we move forward, paragraph 1, mutual aid still trending, comparable to how it has been. The resignation, just not a correction, but just to know that was also a retirement.
I thought I said retirement.
Yeah, so it was Petrie's retirement. So in all honesty, a resignation and retirement are the same. We just celebrate one, and the other one, we just say, see you later. So, so no, we appreciate his sometimes goals. No, but we do appreciate his time served and contribution to the department and community. And he's a lifetime guy here anyway. So a big deal and a loss for the department. But again, he'll do good things and find his way. He's got some other things he's involved in, and we're excited for him. We have a list of lateral transfers. The board the Civilian Fire Safety Board approved 7. So this time we have a small list. We plan on hiring 4, and right now they're already through all the process. So we're anticipating them starting on October 28th. Then we'll also be having another medic starting October 28th. Should they accept their conditional offer, I'll be sending out to them today. And that'll fill us up staffing wise for everybody. I think that's every position at present. So, and then our recruits are doing well in class. They're out doing live fire now. So they're finally understanding why they've been doing all these different rehearsals with hose lines and forcible entry and so on and so forth. So as they keep going, things will keep progressing. By the end of the month, they'll be doing some multi-company, multifaceted drills. I think they're potentially going to be Wayne Township's Tower tomorrow. Will we ever get that done? Maybe. Possibly. They'll be there. Okay. Just to give them a different look. Not because ours isn't good enough. They've been playing in our playground for a while. So expose them to other things, a couple changes. Fire training, Chief Huff's been in North Carolina doing dive training for their fire department there for a rescue diver and getting some of their people certified and bringing their operation up. It's good to have a resource like him on staff, but it also pulls him away from time to time because he's an instructor with Dive Rescue International. So he went out and did that. He'll be back tomorrow. We've got instructors from the companies that are excited to go out and train with our recruits. And that's always a good thing, is to have excitement versus resistance for people to go out and train our new people. So everybody's in good hands and things are still moving forward. Chief Porter, Ray Mulvihill, and Chief Dixon from Plainfield, they are currently, that affects one of our medics. So they're currently deployed. He is deployed, right? He did go, yes. So they're currently deployed down in Florida now. They started in Florida, moved around there, came up north to Carolina, but everything hit North Carolina, and now they're going back down to Florida at present. So we'll see when they're going to be back. They've pretty much put them in service and then now deployed a few extra and put them back in service. So they were actually sent home, but not really, and then redeployed. So EMS wise, I told you we were going to send a conditional offer for a paramedic. We also have a new hire, Trish Ramsey, that we already brought on the last day of the month. She just made the report, but after a few weeks getting acclimated, we look forward to her service to the community as well. And a few members attended the EMS World Conference with Chief Weiniger. That was in Vegas, is that right? So that's kind of their FDIC. FDIC comes here, and lo and behold, the way Chief Weiniger operates, she actually sat down with some of them there, I think, and tried to convince them to come to Indianapolis. Is that correct? Yeah. So again, not just looking out for our department, but looking out for us statewide and putting Indiana on the map too. But she engaged in some happenstance conversation, and that's what normally happens whenever somebody wants to be a leader, is they find their way to make a difference, and she's still trying to do that, not just for us, but for everybody. So moving over to investigations. They're starting to ramp back up. We said that last month. They start picking up. They're up to 164 inspections, consultants, plan reviews, site reviews. The drones continue to be an asset. There's other plans. Tom Green and I both talked the other day. He's our deputy fire marshal, and there's other uses we can have for the drones. That jumps into operations and our law enforcement. Whenever we start going on searches, that should be one of the first things we utilize. And other communities it is, and we'll just have to figure out how to get from point A to point B. And it's just about modernizing operations to some extent. They have a lot of capabilities. If you all get a chance, if not today, maybe in the coming days, if you want to come by. We have everything hooked up now in the back of their trucks, and the big black beds on the back of the inspector trucks. They have their monitors and everything inside, and you saw some of that when we went to the park, and we put it on a TV and you could watch. All that's now in the back of their trucks and mounted up, and outdoor TVs and so on and so forth. So we're good in all weather, but making things just a little more usable and making it usable for the commanders that are on scene to come over and use their drones and their resources as a resource. So instead of everybody staring at their little remote. Anyway, they're up to 37,000 this year in revenues. Again, that's starting to cut in half probably from previous years because there's not as much new build. It's about maintaining and getting into the older buildings now. So moving over to Pub Ed, that's pretty self-explanatory. Again, we're continuing to pop back up with the schools, car seats. Her PIO event, she stayed fairly busy. We're reaching, the number of people we're reaching, 250 students, 1,500 people at the PR events. Project Lifesaver, 7 new clients. There were no station tours, but we've started those back up. We've got a few this month. Those just haven't flowed like anything else. So Pub Ed's a huge part of the community risk reduction plans that include them, investigations and inspections. Our run totals, if you guys have any questions there, feel free. We're up 206 from last year at 6,238 versus 206 less than 2023 as of this time. As we move forward, our biggest hurdle right now, operationally and logistically, is trying to build these stations. So trying to build 145s, Garmong's represented here with Mr. Clark, who's also running for Senate seat. Good luck on that here in another month. So, but again, his work with Garmong and showing up at some of these meetings and some of our hurdles. We're dealing with the Avon Planning Commission. I told you that last meeting. It got extended, and I appreciate the president or the lead of that group extending it and tabling it instead of voting it down. But there are some challenges with the station. We've met with the neighbors. We currently have a letter that just came in today on what we want to do and the things that we're trying to change. But there's a little bit of resistance, and the resistance we're getting is we have to have stamped, engineered, and professional approvals while they fight it all with opinions and rhetoric off of Google searches. And I say that, and I don't say it tongue in cheek. That's exactly what's going on. They literally put up a napkin drawing to present things we could do over top of our engineered drawings. I don't know what the resistance is or why. We're going over to do the right things. We're presenting the things that they're asking for, putting the stories together. Reach out to Lexington Woods and talk to their HOA. They're going to start inviting some of their neighbors in. And we'll go out to a couple of the neighborhoods and knock on doors and talk to them and invite them over. The neighbors in the surrounding areas support the fire station. The next door neighbor also supports the fire station. There's been some challenges with trees and so on and so forth, but we went out with them, an arborist and our engineering group and our architect, and we walked the tree line and talked about what they would be okay with. And they've agreed to some very simple changes and fixes. And anyway, we'll get that moving. I feel fairly confident coming into this meeting, but I don't know what confidence looks like with a moving target. And the target is moving. So I would invite you guys to come. I know Steve and I talked last meeting, is there a difference we can make? I didn't sign up to speak, will this time. But I think as you listen, there might be opportunity. And some of it is, is the property not suitable? Is the building too big? I can tell you, we've shrunk the hallways to the minimum acceptable standards. We have shrunk our driveway by 20 plus feet to make it work. We have moved the building an extra 4 feet. We are asking for exceptions. We're asking for exceptions of 11 feet roughly now of the 30-foot requirement. And that's why we met with the neighbors, because it only affects the one neighbor. And then we're asking for also, we're asking for an acceptance of the proximity of our driveway, the exit drive to the roadway of Governor's Road. So those are the only two exceptions that are really, they're really the things that we've dove into that they're really focused on. In order to do that, we created another exception to try to move the building and meet some needs of moving our parking spots to 18 feet versus 20 feet, which 18 feet is generally accepted as a standard around the city and most of the area, but in Avon it's 20. So we are asking for some exceptions, but like I told them in one-on-one talks, we're trying to build an appropriate firehouse that is sustainable into the future versus trying to build onto it at future dollars in the future. Let's take advantage of today's dollars. We're not trying to build anything excessive. The room sizes are enough to fit a twin size bed in, which is what everybody has on the department now. And it just fits in there in the space provided. And we literally were sizing the rooms and discussing if we could afford to have an end table in there or not. Okay, so we're making adequate space to allow people to sleep and get proper rest, but we're not looking at anything exorbitant. It's a proper station, 1 story, which is kind of where they're headed. We can stack things, but there's safety issues on that, and I can pull the studies. We're just trying to be appropriate. And we're having 3 bays versus 2 to plan for future growth, which we talked about at length on other firehouses. So that's where we're at. That's what we're planning on doing. It's nothing, we're not trying to build a Taj Mahal. We're just trying to build something that's going to last and serve our needs as we grow. So I would appreciate the support. I just don't know what that support looks like. It may be conversations outside of the room. It may be conversations in the room. But you really just have to come and experience it to figure it out. But in the meantime, I'm going to start bringing the community that supports it. And I would ask some of our firefighters that you may want to attend those meetings as well. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Okay. So no old business, new business. First up is the resolution 101024-01, the approval of the 2025 township budget. Anybody want to discuss that? Any questions? I know we talked about it twice now.
Yeah, we've had two previous meetings about the budget, so our third and final meeting. Obviously, we're here to answer any questions that anybody has up to this point. If not, I would ask that the board consider the adoption of our budget.
And all of my questions have been previously answered.
Likewise, mine.
Okay, just need a motion to approve.
I move we adopt resolution 101024.
Individually.
Individually.
Okay. We'll start with Steve.
All right.
You want to start?
So, yeah,
I will be saying aye to approving the 2025 budget.
And I likewise will approve 2025 budget. So. It was awkward one that. Okay, next up is the Explorer Extended Care Insurance claim.
So I don't want to be, oh no, the sky is falling, but I also want to make sure that the board is kept in the loop on different things as they're happening. When I initially put this on the agenda, we had the possibility of a very large insurance claim number that was presented to us as a potential. It sounds like as things have calmed down and dried out, that number has decreased substantially at the Explorer Extended Care. Which school was it, Laura?
Cedar.
Cedar Elementary. We had an indoor recess time where a football was thrown or kicked or somehow ended up in the area of a sprinkler pipe. And when the football impacted the sprinkler pipe, it of course discharged water all over the gymnasium floor. The possibility of having to replace the gymnasium floor, quite expensive, come to find out. Fortunately, as things dried out, that number has decreased substantially. We still don't know what the final number is going to be, but that is why we have insurance. So Laura and her team immediately contacted the school, who contacted a remediation company to come out and start the process of getting everything dried out. Laura then turned and her and her team contacted the insurance company to start that process as well. So it's certainly not a sky is falling event. Insurance is going to cover everything. We don't have the final dollar amount on what it could
potentially cost us. But the number that we're looking at now is going to be substantially less than the original scary number that we saw at the beginning of when the event happened. So all that is being handled appropriately. So I appreciate Laura and her team and the communication that they had. It's one of those, hey, I hate to bother you, but in case you see this on social media, I wanted you to know about it. So fortunately, I don't know that I did see anything on social media about it, but certainly appreciate the heads up and the communication. Her team working with the school corporation to make sure that everything's handled appropriately. Certainly do appreciate that. And then from this point, we appreciate our insurance company doing what it is that they do. So just wanted to make you all aware that we did have an incident, but it is much less significant than what we originally thought it could be. So.
Any other questions?
It could have happened during school hours just as easy. Break incident.
Okay, very good. Any, I don't think we have any other new business. Any public comment or wishes to be heard?
I have wishes to be heard.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to get through this. Most of you in this room probably already know, because I know you've seen a for sale sign in my front yard. It has been a rocky 2 years for me, to say the least, the last few years. My oldest child has gone off to college, and so I am downsizing. It is time for me to downsize. I have probably been looking for a new home for about a year, and unfortunately did not find one that's in Washington Township. So move over Danville, here I come. But what that means is, unfortunately, I have to resign my seat. And today is my last board meeting. So I'm trying not to cry. I don't want to leave. I hope all of you know that. I have enjoyed working with all of you immensely. These two we have been through. We never thought we'd run for public office. I'm sure you could say the same when you started your whole journey before being a sheriff, but yeah, we did it, and we did it twice successfully. I am very, very proud of all of the work that we've done. I'm very proud of everybody in this room. When I look back over the 6 years, I look at how far the fire department has come, the amount of staff that we have been able to hire and make sure that the community is safe. We got to see the renovation of Station 141. We built Station 144. Did we buy any trucks in the last 6 years? I think maybe we did. I think maybe we did.
They're all on order.
They're still on back order. They're still on back order. So I'll be there to help push them in if they ever arrive. For the Parks Department, Laura, I think I've always told you how proud I am of you. We are very like-minded, and so I love to see when your big ideas come to fruition because you make it happen. There was a statistic at one point I had Karen write up for me where when you started versus where you are now, and it's staggering. I think it's 150 some employees from where you first started. We got to pick up the Picard Park project when we first started, which was no easy task getting that closed. Then we saw the addition of Puck Park, Murphy Aquatic Park. So I think we have done quite a bit in 6 years. The Republican chair, Ann Engelhardt, will be holding a caucus here in the next month or so to replace my seat. And so more information, I'm sure Trustee Miller will keep everybody updated on that. So that is my news and my wishes to be heard. And I am very, very sorry that I couldn't fulfill my term. I really, really don't want to leave. But I will be here as a resource for anyone that needs me. You're not getting rid of me. I obviously still own the local newspapers, so you'll hear from me quite a bit. Don't do bad things, because those go in there too. But thank you from the bottom of my heart. I have learned so much. I've learned how important it is to get involved in your local community, how important it is to get involved, and the difference that we can make, when we raise our hand and say, I want to be part of the change. So thank you for allowing me to be part of that process.
Anything else you want to say about the process, or no?
No. Waiting to hear more information from
Yeah,
Ann.
so we'll hear more information, and I think there's a 30-day clock ticking.
And I have not given my letter of resignation yet. Trustee Miller will be getting that effective October 26th. So you have me until October 26th.
For the one.
You're welcome.
And thank you for everything you've done. I know it's been fun.
Is that what we call it?
Yeah, it's Any other public comment or wish to be heard? Okay, we will, our next meeting is Tuesday, November 12th at 3 o'clock here. If anybody wonders where the meetings are at and when they're at, they are on the Washington Township website, under the Township Board. So if you need to know where the meeting times and locations and dates they are, that's where they're located at. So, need a motion to adjourn?
We'll do the last one, my last one. I will motion to adjourn at 3:30 PM.
I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Dundee.